Welcome back to Picture Breakdown. In today's video, we're going to be going over the first episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Just a quick heads up, there's going to be spoilers in this, so if you haven't seen the episode already, go and check it out on Disney+. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any weekly uploads. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to smash that like button. On the last video, we got 12 likes, so for this one, we're going to go for 20 likes. And now, without further ado, let's get right into the breakdown. About 6 months after the events of Avengers Endgame, we find Sam, Falcon, and Bucky the Winter Soldier trying to adjust their lives after their blip. In the first scene, Sam prepares to give a press conference about the legacy of Cap's shield, and we hear the words exchanged between Cap and Sam at the end of Avengers Endgame.
How does it feel? Like it's someone else's. It isn't.
Although we don't know if Captain America is officially dead, we can assume he won't be playing much of a role in this show. He'll probably serve more as a symbol, like Iron Man was in Spider-Man Far From Home. Sent near the Libyan border, Sam is recruited on a mission to rescue a U.S. captain from the new criminal organization called LAF. The camera pans down to a computer screen where you can make out C-130, which could be a reference to the Captain America comic issue 130, where Cap fights Batroc the Leaper. Sam finds the captain, but he is in the hands of Batroc the Leaper, who we met in Captain America the Winter Soldier. Batroc held his own against Cap in hand-to-hand fight, probably because of his special martial arts training. Batroc grew up in France, and after being trained by the French Foreign Legion, left to be a mercenary. In the comics, he is known as Batroc the Leaper, and was involved in many heist missions, often facing off against Captain America. The scene takes place high above the ground, with Falcon speeding through the valleys, dodging missiles, and blowing up helicopters as he rescues the captain. After the action subsides, Torres, a friend of Sam's in the army, tells Sam about the Flag Smashers, a terrorist group that believes that a unified world order caused from Thanos' snap was better than having individual nations. Essentially, they were happier when half the world population was missing. This group is based on the Captain America comic villain Flag Smasher, Carl Morgenthau. Flag Smasher's main objective was not that far off from the group in the show, basically working to get rid of national flags and create one world order through terrorism. Sam gives his speech in the Smithsonian, announcing that he will be giving up the shield to the U.S. government. Colonel Rhodes, or War Machine, walks with Sam in the Smithsonian and tries to talk him into taking up the role as Captain America, like Steve wanted, but Sam says that he isn't ready. As they are talking, you can make out the cover of the comic book Captain America Issue 1 that shows Steve punching Hitler in the face, like he did in Captain America 1, The First Avenger. We then see Bucky's dream and memory of him as the Winter Soldier on an assassination mission for Hydra. At the end, he kills a bystander who saw everything happen. Bucky wakes up and we see him with his shrink, who begins to question him about the 3 steps to making amends with his past. She tells him that he can be a normal citizen now, because now he has his mind back. Remember, after Civil War, Cap took him to Wakanda, where they worked to get his mind control things that Hydra had put in him out of Bucky's mind. We then see Bucky make amends with Senator Atwood, who used Bucky to come to power. He opens up a notebook to reveal a list of names of people he needs to make amends with. This is similar to the list that Cap takes of things that he needs to catch up on. The first name on the list is A. Rostov. Could be a nod to Andrei Rostov, a Soviet general and arms dealer that had a few run-ins with Bucky in the comics. The next name is P.W. Hauser, who's an actor who had worked alongside Sebastian Stan in a movie. Also in the list is an N. Sari, which could be a reference to Sari St. Hubbins, who's a contract killer in the comics for the UK. Another name there is more well-known, H. Zemo for Helmut Zemo, who's a Sokovian soldier who framed Bucky for the bombing of the Sokovia Accords. He later pitted the Avengers against themselves by showing Tony Stark that it was Bucky who killed his parents during the Captain America Civil War movie. Zemo's also going to be in this show, but the last time we saw him he was in custody, and he could have gotten free from getting snapped away, or maybe his guards could have gotten snapped. Bucky and Yori Nakajima go to get lunch, and they both joke, looking at the obituary, that nobody got past 90 years old that week. reflecting on the old man bond that they have together, with Bucky later saying that he is 106 years old. Yori Nakajima then begins to reminisce about his son's death in Japanese. It is at this moment that you can hear the Winter Soldier music, as Bucky begins to be reminded of his time as the Hydra assassin. We then cut to Sam in Delacroix, Louisiana, as he drives up to his nephews, who are 5 years older than he left them because he got snapped away. They refer to him as Uncle Sam, which is an obvious reference to the American figure of Uncle Sam. We then see their boat, the Paul and Darlene, which they say is named after their parents. Paul Wilson in the comics is a minister in Harlem, New York City, and he marries Darlene Jeffries. These were Sam's parents in the comics, and they were shot and killed by a mugger about a block from their apartment. Sam and his sister argue about whether to sell the boat or not, and you can see some family pictures in the background of their boat with their parents before they died. We then see Bucky on his date, but notice as he's walking in, a police car flashes by it, maybe saying that the police are keeping an eye on Bucky. She asks him why he has a glove on, and he makes up on the spot that he has poor circulation, which is kinda true, because he doesn't have any circulation in that arm because it's made of metal. When she leaves, Bucky tries to stop the cat arm from moving, which parallels when Pepper leaves the office. Tony Stark in Iron Man 2 tries to do the same thing. She then tells him that she's trying to read his mind, but Bucky tells her not to, probably because of the terrible things in his past, or maybe because for the longest time he had other people controlling his mind. She noticed that he can drink a lot without getting drunk due to his version of the super soldier serum that wouldn't let Cap get drunk. He tells her that he has a sister, and in the comics, his sister is Rebecca Barnes, who was sent off to boarding school when Bucky went to Camp Lehigh. She then asks him if he's close with his parents, and he tells her that they passed away. In the comics, his parents are Winfred Barnes and George Barnes. His mom died when he was young, and his dad died in an accident while he was stationed at Camp Lehigh. After she tells him that not knowing what happened to his son is doing something terrible to Mr. Nakajima, Bucky goes up to his house, and we learn that from the picture on the wall, the bystander that Bucky had killed on the mission was Mr. Nakajima's son. But Bucky, instead of telling him the truth, decides to play it off as giving him some money for lunch. We are now in Switzerland with Torres. Everyone is given a similar mask to put on, and Torres' phone, you can see the word Renn, which is run in German. We then see the guy robbing the bank jump down from about 25 feet off the ground and be fine, which is the first inclination that he's not just some normal bank robber. The guy robbing the bank, seeing a follower being arrested by the police, kicks the policeman like 20 feet into the pole, probably paralyzing the officer. Torres pulls out his gun and walks close to the guy with super strength, which everybody knows you shouldn't do, and which predictably he gets disarmed and then curb stomped. Then the shot pans up, showing Torres lying there, similar to how Gamora and Black Widow lay when they fell off the cliff in Vormir. We then go to Sam and his sister trying to get a loan for the boat, but the banker says that his financials are all over the place. That's probably true because he was a fugitive after Civil War, so his funding may have been spotty. Sam gets a text from Torres, saying that he needs to see something important, but on the text you can see the words, "I knew that," with an emoji at the end. What did he know? Sam goes to look at the video that Torres got, and Sam, seeing them with super strength, begins to think of an idea of what they could be. Torres asks if he could be but Sam shuts him down immediately. But I have a later theory on that. His sister turns on the TV, and we see the US is giving Cap's shield to a new Captain America, which shows that they weren't at all planning on keeping the thing in the museum. The new US government Captain America walks out, and you can see that he has a gun, while Cap only used a gun during World War II. Then again, it was World War II. And for the rest of his movies, he pretty much uses the shield as his primary weapon. We know the US government's Captain America is John Walker, and he winks at the camera as any propaganda boy might do. John Walker in the comics was known as Super Patriot, and he argued that he represented the true ideals of America more than Cap did. Throughout his time, he was a sort of hero/villain and foil to Rogers. We then get to the credits, where there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs. In the credits, right before they credit someone, they put down a really quick sentence for about a half a second that if you pause it, you can see what it says. The first one we see, it says, "A shadow group pulls off a massive weapons heist." The next one is "El Nuevo Capitan America, Yene Fuerza and una de, which roughly translates from Spanish to English, the new Captain America fills the spot. Another one is blank, secret identities must reveal their legal names and true identities to the United Nations. All information regarding the Enhanced Humans Act has been reported to be classified by Major Donovan of Special Unit. Forces from neighboring Madripoor have committed human rights violations. I love this reference because we know that Bucky and Sam are going to be visiting Madripoor in this show. Madripoor is a fictional place in the Marvel Comics that's an island off of Southeast Asia. It's divided into extremely wealthy and extremely poor. It's a crime-ridden city, including both those at the top and the bottom. We then see Agent 13 of S.H.I.E.L.D. Special Service, which is a reference to Sharon Carter, who we know will be appearing later in this show. Another one is the nation is called upon to recognize the patriotism of fellow citizens from all ethnic, racial, and religious. This is saying that you cannot discriminate based on these things, similar to how the show portrays the US government doing this to Sam. Masked Man plunged downtown Prague into chaos. This could be referencing Zemo doing some damage in his purple mask, another Flag Smasher heist, or could be Taskmaster, the villain of Black Widow, that should have come out before this, if not for COVID. It says twice December 16th, 1991, the date Bucky killed Tony's parents. In one, it says the time is 7 o'clock p.m., which is when it happened, and another one showing the place, Long Island, New York. One of the biggest mysteries of this episode is why the Flag Smashers are so strong. We know from trailer footage that the guy, along with the girl who handed out the masks, have enhanced strength, but we don't know why yet. In a couple of trailers, we get that Sam might think they're a member of the big three villains that they've already fought.
I have a feeling they might be a part of the big three.
What big three?
The big three.
What big three?
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
That's not a thing.
That's definitely a thing.
No, it's not.
Every time we fight one of the three.
So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out.
So you see my point.
No, I don't. There are no wizards.
Doctor Strange
Is a sorcerer.
A sorcerer is a wizard without a hat. Think about it, right? I'm right. I just came up with that. It's crazy.
Androids is a reference to Ultron, and the aliens is reference to Infinity War and Endgame. And wizards could be Ebony Maw, who they fought in Infinity War. But Falcon didn't fight Ebony Maw, so he could be talking about Wanda, since this does take place 5 months after the events of WandaVision. I don't believe that it's any of these, because aliens wouldn't care about the nations of Earth. It couldn't be the robots, because the people in the trailer seem to really care about their cause, and robots aren't exactly the caring type, and super strength doesn't seem to be the type of thing that wizards or sorcerers would have. Some people think that these might be mutants with the X gene, like the X-Men, and this could happen because Disney bought Fox, who had the movie rights to X-Men, but I don't think that it'll be mutants, because they're two different people, have the same mutant powers. As bland as super strength, it's not really something that happens. I do believe that these are super soldiers. While we have had a lot of super soldiers, starting from Abomination, which was a form of the super soldier serum, to Bucky and Cap and all the super soldiers in Civil War, I do think that a super soldier with just super strength makes the most sense with the context that we have. So for what I thought of the episode, I actually thought this episode was really, really good. But I can't necessarily say that I'm surprised, since they did spend $150 million on the show. And the episode was 50 minutes long, almost double of what we were getting in WandaVision. The opening scene of Sam flying through the canyon walls with Redwing, his drone, might have been some of, if not the best action we've seen in Falcon. And then the dream sequence as Bucky as the Winter Soldier really brought back some Captain America the Winter Soldier vibes. The episode did a really well job of going into some deep, heartfelt moments when it came to Bucky's past. And both Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie did amazing jobs at showing that within their characters. Overall, I don't think I had any problems with this episode, except for the fact that I kind of want the next episode to come out right now so I can watch it. Well, I really hope you liked that video. And if you did, may I remind you to subscribe, give us a like, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future breakdown videos. Make sure to put down any questions you might have for me or about the show down in the comment section. And if not, let me know how you think the Flag Smashers are enhanced. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next breakdown.